While looking through my comment section, I have noticed that many people encourage me to use Protonmail or Telegram and some other censorship-free or encrypted communication platform. I have also noticed that many people, including right-minded community members and some YouTubers, are using secured platforms to communicate with their friends, teammates, such as Riot or Avire. They also plot some plans and ideas there in secrecy for reasons of security, as they claim. Both those stances are deeply naive, and in this video I will explain why. I mentioned it in my videos before that in our system there is illusion of freedom, an illusion of change for a better, an illusion of democracy, and when it comes to the internet there is also an illusion of privacy, anonymity, and security. If the people who monitor our activity in this system want to know what you store on your hard drive, who you are talking with and about what, if they want to know who you are and where you are from, they can do all of that without much trouble. And there is no realistic way to prevent this, as well as no easy way to detect it. First, I will tell you about one of the world's top spyware, which was revealed to the public and which is often purchased by our governments to spy on their own citizens or gather information. And later we will move to an unnecessary subject, since the first one covers all of it, but it is a popular belief which is important to understand because it's about encrypted communication, encryption services. And my third subject will be speaking about what we can do about it and how to improve your personal security online based on possibilities and accessibility for an average user who cares about personal safety. And please do not hate me for telling you all of this, for destroying this illusion that any of you might hold with regards to operating as an anonymous person on the internet, where you can in secrecy exchange any information, because I know many people are paranoid about their safety on the internet and not sharing personal information. So just try not to freak out after hearing this material if you are one of those people. I am telling you this to improve your personal safety by trying to prevent you from doing something stupid and compromising yourself or your plans and ideas, as it is possible that you say or share too much on the internet while being unaware of the risk. The internet is not a safe place and never will be, so don't just make stupid mistakes by revealing too much, believing you are safe. In reality, you are not. So let's start with Pegasus, since it is the only detected and more or less diagnosed spyware of this type so far. This spyware was officially discovered for the first time in Canada, but for the full diagnostics and leak of the Pegasus technical documentation, if I may say it this way, the responsibility goes to an Italian technological surveillance company, which is also a competition company to the Pegasus creators company. Pegasus was developed naturally in Israel under guidance of 2x Mossad agents. The current public information about Pegasus, which you can find on the surface net, are already long outdated. To prove my claim, I may inform you all that, for example, my country, Poland, purchased Pegasus services a year ago for a few million dollars, and few other small countries are doing that as well. So, what is so special about this spyware? Early versions of Pegasus needed manual client interaction with the trap links, email, and things like that in order to install itself on a targeted person's computer or a device. Later, spyware was able to install itself on its own, without any client action, sometimes as an update for your antivirus or the operating system on your machine, and later, with the new upgrades, as a completely unwanted ghost, parasiting lines of code, which install themselves without any invitation from any program, system, or user on your computer. Pegasus variants exist in other versions adapted to various platforms, to different operating systems, possibly even Unix, but it is unverified information. So as it stands today, it doesn't matter if you use a phone, laptop, desktop computer, or even a console or Apple. This spyware is able to infect targeted machine or device on command or automatically, mostly by address and connections allocated by your internet service provider to a specific client, including to you. So yes, it's not really about client targeted device and the system of the targeted client. Rather, it's about internet service providers which allow Pegasus to identify a targeted client. As I have mentioned, Pegasus may attack a target on command or automatically, so I will briefly explain how this works. Let's say you are a person of interest on the radar of those who wish to know what you are up to and also want to monitor your activity in the future. The identification of a target by a special services in order to monitor is being decided based on your activity online, based on what you browse, watch, and possibly what you comment or preach about on the internet platform or any other website. It works similar to Google advertising system, where Google system bot is analyzing your category of interest based on your activity online or what you say near your microphone, and later Google displays commercials which match your personal interest. After the verification of what you are saying takes place, of how many people you surround yourself with, and obviously then comes the classification. If you are anyway deemed dangerous or a threat to anybody who those special services are obliged to protect the interest of or not. And that's pretty much it. At this point it's all about if you are judged as worthy of their attention or if you are just a rebellious clown which they may ignore. So let's say you are classified positively as a threat and they decide to keep eye on you because you are worthy of their attention. First, they will identify you, who you are, where you live. Until now, they didn't need to know your name or address, but at this stage, full infiltration starts. So they track you down by the traffic, by the connections you make, which will lead them to your internet provider, and which, by the way, is the easiest way to obtain more detailed information about your person. Your internet provider has all the main information about you, such as your full name, real address, phone number, all the informations which you provided to them while registering yourself as a client for their services. Just a normal procedure while purchasing internet service. When they have that information about you, then they don't need anything else. Your internet service provider has information on its server about your machine, physical addresses, in simple words, a hardware components, identification numbers, if I can say it this way. So it means that whenever you were connecting to the internet connection provided by your internet service provider from any device, they now have all the records on those devices, and they know now which machines they need to target exactly with Pegasus. At this point, it's over for you. Nothing that you have ever done on the internet, nothing that you said or wrote to someone remains a secret anymore, because they can access all of this if it is recorded somewhere. And there are rumors that, just rumors, that our entire online activity for 1 year back is being always recorded and stored for a year. This is unverified, but definitely possible. Now I will tell you about Pegasus and its possibilities as a spyware. It can do everything that you can do on your machine. You can check all the files you have. They can check all the files you have, and even plant scandalous files, compromising files on your device to compromise you. Sometimes they might, for example, do this with the politicians or so. They can see you through your camera. They can hear you through your microphone. They can see what you see on your screen. They can browse through your computer and all the files, all the records. All the logins, passwords you ever use in your machine, if they are anywhere recorded, will be sent to the Pegasus owners automatically. They will have full access to your emails, to your bank account, if it is accessible by internet. Nothing that you do on computer remains a secret to whoever monitors you through Pegasus. Absolute invigilation of your computers or phone, and there is no way to prevent it, to protect yourself from it. So let's summarize what we got so far. It can install itself on its own without any invitation. It gains absolute control and access to your phone or computer, and it automatically gathers information about you and sends them to the maker's company. But there is more. As it should be obvious already, Pegasus is immune to any antivirus, adapted to at least all major operating systems, and somehow magically able to bypass any firewall. Another superpower of this spyware is that it's almost undetectable, except detailed diagnostics of the internet traffic from your machine. But it was possible to detect it this way a few years ago. In meantime, maybe they have figured out something out in order to cover up those diagnostics as well. We don't know. Pegasus was discovered many years ago, and since then it was definitely upgraded. As I mentioned before, Poland purchased Pegasus services last year. This is official public information. But if someone is going to say something like, I will format my computer, I will just buy a new one or so, and they will lose track of me. No, they have your voice sample, they have records of what you are interested in, what internet accounts you own it and where, what emails, and as soon you will access any from your old accounts or try to communicate with some of your friends, it will automatically be detected by Pegasus. It's scanning the network. Then the Pegasus will do the same trick of installing itself on your new machine. Then they will verify it's you, and it's a never-ending cycle. There is no escape from it if you once get into its radar, if I can say it this way. I don't know how they made this monster, but it does exist, and there are definitely other spyware like this one which we are not aware of. and which are in the hands of other private technological surveillance companies from all over the world. Please notice that entire countries are purchasing services of such technological surveillance companies to spy on their own citizens. But when I say purchasing, it's not completely accurate, because it's not that the company sells Pegasus to some special service group in our countries, but they just provide Pegasus service to the country, which means that if the country purchases Pegasus services to spy on some people in that country, the Israeli company does all the work of planting the Pegasus at the target client computer or phone, and they also perform the monitoring, and they only deliver the reports from the monitoring to special services in our countries. All the information about the targeted client goes through some worker hands in Israeli company. That's how it works. We only know so much about it because the Israeli company has a competition when it comes to surveillance services. And as I said before, the Pegasus so-called technical documentation was leaked thanks to similarly specialized Italian company, also a private one. We do not know how many other private technological surveillance companies are out there. They're keeping a low profile, and how many of those spyware types exist. If Pegasus exists, I'm pretty sure those other companies developed something on their own, which we are not aware of. So we really don't know how many of those spywares exist and are being used to spy on us. This means private companies have more means of spying on us than our own governments, especially in those European countries or so, possibly with the exception of the United States of America, which has a very strong surveillance and which was exposed thanks to Edward Snowden. So, when someone tells me about plotting any plans in secrecy or for security reasons, and when he does that through the internet, it sounds so wrong to me, because I already have a clear idea that this guy's plan, if it relies on secrecy and is organized through the internet, will naturally not work, because there is no secrets on internet from people with power that is far above our countries, which means that any secret plans done through the internet are compromised at the start. That's how it must be taken. But let's proceed to encrypted communication, Proton Mail, Riot, Wire. Each of those are services provided for people who care about privacy and want to share some secrets in more secured way. For me, it has always sounded like a joke, honestly. I think you are more secure at chatting over sensitive subjects or exchanging information through a chat inside a computer game than any of those platforms, and I will explain why. As I have already mentioned, each of those are services provided to us by private owners of those services. They have tools to control those services, and one of the major parts of such service is encryption and respect for privacy. Every encryption has a key. The key is generated either at the start of the process or in the middle of the process, but either way, all the data goes from a starting point to a destination point as a form of exchange between two clients who participate in the process. And the process starts, goes, and ends thanks to the encryption service provided thanks to the encryption service provider infrastructure. So everything you guys do, this entire process, is done through the infrastructure of the service provider, right? Which means that if the owners of the service provider are dishonest or work for someone else, it is really not a problem from a technical point to copy all the messages, emails, and copy the encryption keys from clients, customers, and deliver them to a third-party people who are interested into spying on you. Even in encrypted communication, there is data exchange, which can be recorded when the process takes place. Everything you do can be recorded. I mean, everything you do online, no matter what we do when we operate on the internet. And why those service providers could cooperate with people who like to spy on other people? In most simple answer, it's about money and possibly personal safety, but I will give a real life example here. I am pretty sure most of you have heard about Libra, the Facebook cryptocurrency, which I claim is to be designed as a world currency. After the economy will get rid of the cash, I suspect Libra is being developed to be an replacement. Anyway, the people who are developing Libra, I mean at least the key developers, they use it to be our guys, good guys, honest people who have been working underground, developing an alternative to Bitcoin, since Bitcoin is currently accumulated more and more in the hands of 4 major groups with mutual interests, which I cannot talk about here, but one of them is obviously located in Israel. So anyway, the developers of Libra were for freedom of speech, privacy, and personal security. They did care about us and our well-being. They were really good guys, and there was 5 of them. But after Snowden revealed to the whole world how far the range of surveillance goes, after seeing how the overwhelming majority, actually whole world, didn't care beyond temporary news headlines, after seeing that nobody seemed to care or worry about all the surveillance being done to us, those 5 good people lost faith in their work. They saw that we do not care, that we are being stupid and careless, so they said, screw this, I won't be sacrificing my life and doing my work for people who will not appreciate it, who don't truly care about personal security and their privacy. So 4 of them sold themselves and their work to Facebook, one of the biggest official invigilators of people's lives. And one of them remained loyal to the cause, to his beliefs, and he ended up being destroyed. So, I have no guarantee that those other encrypted service providers have not sold themselves neither, and that's why I don't care about using encrypted email services or communicators, because I am fully aware that if someone truly wants to spy on me and learn about me, what I do or what I plan, they can do that at any time. Even ignoring the possibility that those encrypted service providers are not trustworthy, there are still the private companies which specialize in surveillance technology, which might allow my government or whoever else is interested to spy on me. And we cannot defend ourselves from that. And there is a third possibility of effectively spying on people. It's the hardware we use. Your phone itself or CPU, which could be designed to include from the producer a spying device or mechanics integrated into your hardware. And about the phones, even if the phone is in the sleep mode or turn it off, there is no guarantee that the that it's not monitoring you, or person who is monitoring you is not reviewing your files in this mode. If you want to be sure about your phone, always take the battery off. That's the only way to be sure. Well, there is no escape from invigilation on the internet, and those who tell you otherwise simply do not understand how those things work. To verify the information which I spoke of, go ahead, first use Google. If you have the possibility, consult what I have said with a computer scientist, and if you are more familiar yourself, search for specific information for the details on the dark web. I hope I made myself clear on this one. Any plans or conspirational work in private, it's a joke in my eyes. And if any plans success depends on keeping it as a secret, then it's definitely going to fail. The only way to succeed with the fight for our future is transparency with the world and with the people who rely on you. And how to protect yourself from the spying and invigilation? Since there is no realistic possibility to do that on the internet, here is my advice. Keep your profile low. Don't talk too much on the internet. Don't be overconfident. Well, don't talk too much on the internet and close to your phone. That's also compromising, but anyway. Don't be overconfident. You are not anonymous. No matter how much protection or proxies you're gonna use. Intentionally misspell words. Talk in a way to let others read what you're trying to say, but in a way where they have to read between the lines. Also, some may say, so how is it that so many criminals or terror guys operate on the internet and they don't get arrested? You have different services with different access, with different monitoring possibilities. At the top of the hierarchy, we have those so-called international masters and their private technological surveillance companies. Those people don't care about terror guys or criminals. They care more about spying on people worthy of their attention, politicians, real ideological opposition leaders and people like that, possibly spying of politicians, people capable of hurting their interest. That's who they are interested in spying on. If they monitoring people on the right, the YouTubers are also the target, especially those who have a huge audience. Any people who pose somehow like ideological leaders or anyhow guide a large number of people, those people are the targets. Below, you have countries with national special services. They do track terror guys. By the way, I'm self-censoring myself here because YouTube. But they don't care about common criminals much. And that's why they purchase the services of Pegasus and similar companies. They are also more interested in digging up dirt on each politician. Police have limited access, so they also have limited possibilities to keep track even on simple criminals. If you want to be safe and maintain your privacy, don't end up on the radar of those people from the top, on those international masters, those big surveillance companies. Do not become worthy of their attention. I guess that's the best advice I can give. Keep your profile low. They will not care about you if you are nobody. So, really, don't afraid. Actually, no. Never mind about that. And maybe one last piece of advice. Please consider the possibility that all those free encrypted communication services, encrypted emails or messengers, which advertise themselves as being secured and safe to use, what if the owners of those aforementioned private businesses of those platforms, which may in actually be bait to lure people with secrets or things to hide into operating on them, while the owners of said platforms cooperate with the CIA or Mossad and other such organizations. What if they are so-called honeypots? Have you guys considered that? Did you consider the possibility of it being a perfect trap? I have no proof of that. I am just warning you that it is likely possibility, just as I do not have any reason to trust them beyond their claims, advertisements, and what people say about them, and if they are safe to use. Those are not convincing reasons to trust them, to trust those businesses, just because they say something or someone told me about them. Also, regarding the proxy service providers, on the screen now should be a little schematic, self-explanatory, I guess. But if you want to test how well it covers you on the internet, turn on your proxy and go post somewhere in the public forum about having lots of guns for sale, and count how long it takes before police will come to you. But in meantime, you have our future to save. So study the plan and the rest of my material. Subscribe, keep monitoring my channel if you care about our future in this world.